Here's something I definitely never used before. I've reviewed so many keyboards and mice of all sizes and shapes, but to completely alter the way I interact with my computer interface was not something I anticipated liking. Yet here I am, half a year later, and still operating my work PC without a normal mouse. So, how exactly do I get things done with the Kensington Trackball mouse? Well, it's much easier than it looks. I'm Alex from the Sypnotix, and let's review this thing right now. A trackball mouse is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of a photocell with a lens reflecting the motion you use with your hand, like a regular mouse does, a trackball rolls to navigate a computer screen. Think of a hamster on a wheel. Now remove the hamster and put human fingers to do the running on the ball. If it seems like a lot of work to move a cursor around, I was with you there. That is until I used the Kensington every single day for about a month. A switch then flipped, and I actually found myself feeling better about scrolling with this trackball mouse than with a normal mouse. I've used some of the best consumer mice people can buy too. So the big question is whether it takes more effort to bring my cursor over to point on my screen using a ball. If it does, it's minimal difference in time. What the ball does help with is my hand posture. Instead of spreading my index and middle fingers apart to accommodate a scroll wheel in between, the Kensington allows my fingers to rest in a more natural position. It really is oddly comfortable to use. In fact, I also feel like I was navigating my screen cursor more gracefully by rolling the ball than I do with my mouse. It took a little getting used to, but I've become a pro at moving my cursor directly to where my head is basically telling it to go. The large ball can be removed from the hole and kind of fiddled with when I'm bored too, so that's kind of cool. It's heavier than it looks. The smooth texture of the red sphere allows me to either use one or two fingers to roll it. Either of them work to navigate precise movement too. I'm pleasantly surprised at how smooth it operates. It's deceptive for my brain to process rolling with the actual cursor movement on my screen, yet it somehow became more natural the longer I utilize the unit. It's very fascinating. The other function that might be an even bigger benefit than even the ball itself is the scroll ring. Like a majority of people in the world, I normally scroll through pages or web pages and stuff like that using a scroll wheel on the mouse. The motion of spinning down and up was ingrained into my mind and also muscle memory as a natural action to move a page up and down. Well, Kensington uses a rather large size scroll ring housed around the trackball. With ridges that give the finger texture to grip while spinning, I found the scroll ring to be a joy to use. I never realized just how much wasted motion is used on a scroll wheel until I transitioned into a scroll ring. Looking closely at my finger motion when using a mouse, I realized that my index finger flexes and flicks in a kind of abnormal motion. It's no wonder I find my fingers to be getting stiffer and not feeling too well after a long day behind my computer. With the scroll ring, my thumb is resting on a natural spot and rolling in a natural motion. There's a lot less tension on my hand than when I'm using a mouse. It's something that isn't noticeable to your body until about a month or so using this different form factor. I didn't buy this anticipating a magical health benefit like many people associate with the word ergonomic. I am, however, pleasantly happy that I will claim to be converted into this segment, as I do find the Kensington to fit into that category quite well. The trackball mouse even comes with a curved wrist rest that perfectly slides into the shape of the mouse's body. The way the company describes this included add-on is that it's a cradle and it cradles the hand into a comfortable resting position. That's exactly how I would describe the wrist rest. It's so good that I can't even begin to fathom not using it anymore. There's a hump right at the bridge of where the wrist rest connects to the body of the trackball mouse that the palm and the wrist sit on. Since the trackball mouse is built slanting upwards, making it also back heavy. The wrist rest begins at a lower position of the two units. This acute angle is perfect for the resting position of a human hand. It just happens to also be the position I'm operating my computer with, too. So it's brilliant, and I don't know why I didn't give trackball mice a shot earlier if it's this good. It's not like the Kensington isn't cool looking either. I've had so many coworkers wowed with the appearance of this oddball tool. If you don't know what HAL 9000 is, you probably should do a Google search. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. I think the Kensington stands out in a sea of familiar products. It's just purely different, and that's a good thing in a tech setup sense. Surrounding the trackball and the scroll wheel are 4 customizable buttons. They flank out of the ball like a TIE fighter would from Star Wars. Once again, once you see it, you can't unsee it. The buttons have shallow input, but they're satisfying to click. My bottom left button is my traditional left click, while my bottom right button is my traditional right click. The top right button is my page back button, and finally the top left is my spare button to set up for miscellaneous needs depending on what I kind of feel like using it for. I do occasionally click on a button on accident as my fingers anticipate the next operation I want to partake in. In my case, it's often clicking the page back button on accident while setting up my fingers for a scroll wheel. Still, I find it acceptable to operate with my everyday needs, and there is software from Kensington that you can adjust these things to customize it the way you want it. The Kensington connects to my PC via a USB dongle using a 2.4 gigahertz wireless connection. However, it can also connect directly with a Bluetooth connection to bypass the need of a USB receiver. Connection is reliable, and the auto sleep function seems to be right on the money. This is important because this model doesn't charge with a cable connection to power. Yep, this is a mouse that still requires alkaline AA batteries. It's not the end of the world, but it would have been a better user experience if there were actual rechargeable batteries that you can plug a cable in. Still, it's been half a year now, and I haven't recycled the first set of batteries out, and that is quite good. I'm actually satisfied with the overall battery department here. And finally, this thing is exceedingly accessible to use for just about anybody. It's an ambidextrous design and perfectly symmetrical. I also don't find that it operates better or worse with your dominant or non-dominant hand either, unlike a traditional mouse that I guess still requires a certain technique that most people use their dominant hand to operate. The Kensington trackball mouse is, I would say, just as easy or hard to use with a right hand or a left hand. It either feels natural to use or it doesn't. And if it's the latter, in which case it will feel more natural the longer it's being used. I don't feel that way about a normal mouse though. While this was supposedly designed for the Microsoft Surface lineup, the Kensington works with all Windows computers. It also works with Mac OS, and it also works with Chrome OS as well. If you're bored of your traditional mice or find yourself wondering if there are better options out there, well, I highly recommend giving this trackball tool a chance. There are lots of trackball mice in a traditional mouse body. This is something unique and not for the sake of being unique. It's designed in a way that actually makes sense. The structure just cradles a hand perfectly into a position that isn't straining. When I purchased this, I thought I'd give it a few weeks at my work computer and switch back to a normal mouse. And now I'm not sure I want to use anything but this on all my computing devices. Once again, I'm Alex from the Sypnotix. Thank you guys so much. Have you used something like this before? Are you a traditional mouse person? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.